Hey, it's Chris here from the Avalanche Center, and Ben and I are in the White Clouds today. We are up above 4th of July Lake. We're on a 9,500 foot elevation slope, northwest aspect, pretty low slope angle. No snow really in the forecast, unfortunately, so things could change in the snowpack before we end up getting some loading on it, but in the meantime we thought we'd at least show you what we're finding out here. You know, as we know, we had some pretty good storms back in mid-November, and the first ones came in pretty darn warm. And what we ended up with is a snowpack that's pretty right side up and generally pretty stable. People have been finding it to be fairly supportable. We've actually rode snowmobiles in here and weren't bottoming out a whole lot. So yeah, if we look at this chunk of the snowpack, it's pretty good. It's pretty soft on top. This is fastening from this dry weather we've had. That's probably going to be our primary weak layer once we start getting snow. But then as we move down the snowpack, it actually gets pretty strong. And that's what's allowing us, even though there's only about 2.5 feet of snow here, allowing us to ski and snowmobile through this kind of snow that's so shallow. So if it was just this, we'd be looking pretty good. And a lot of people, where they're recreating and there wasn't the old October snow, that's what you're faced with. Here, since we're at an upper elevation north aspect, we're finding some weak snow here that was left over from the storms we had in October. And this stuff actually looks pretty bad. We did some stability tests and found out that this was still propagating fractures. Some pretty large grain facets of depth ore here on top of a melt freeze crust. A melt freeze crust, which is the bed surface, thin layer of weak depth ore there. And then we have a bit of a slab. And then when we finally get loading, we'll be concerned about this weak layer here, and then also where that October snow exists in some of our upper elevation north aspects, that's going to be a concern too.